Hey guys, it's April with Crafting with April. Hope you guys are having a great night. I'm going to show you guys how to put together this keepsake box and get you the file for it. Now when you send this to the mat, it's going to tell you that it needs 4 sheets of paper to cut on. And of course you can move the 4 by, I think it's 0.25 piece to the center of this and have it cut. I didn't do that because it can be tight, and depending on the cardstock you use, it may, if it's very fibrous, it's just going to tear and cause you problems and lift up off the mat. But after you cut this piece, the one with the tab on it, if you take that piece off and turn it with that tab to the top on the right, you can get that frame cut out over here, and then you're still going to have some extra cardstock left over for scraps or various things. Now I did not include any panels to go on this. I figured you guys could add your own panels, your decorative panels and things, and decorate this box up like you want. You're going to have a frame. You're going to have a tab piece. You're also going to have a piece that's got a score line on it. That's your back piece. Because of the way the box is made, I did include a piece that will do this in one shot here. However, you'll need 12 by 24 paper. Most your double-sided or your pattern cardstock and things of that, but the pretty stuff doesn't come in 12 by 24. So, I mean, if you want to do it solid and use some Cricut cardstock and stuff like that, it'll work for that. But I included it as a 2-piece file. That's just an extra piece. It will be purple in the file, and it will have to be cut on a 12 by 24 mat. Then I have some finishing bands. These are optional. You don't have to have these, but I did include them. Then this is a panel for the bottom. You can cut this out of a different cardstock if you want. I think I'm just going to flip mine over. This is like a French paper. I got this, I believe it was on Blitsy or Amazon. This is a Prima. I may have even gotten this at Hobby Lobby at some point when they were carrying some of the Prima papers. But this is the French Riviera pack, I believe. I'm looking to see. It just says French Riviera over here. So that's what I'm going with. That's what I'm calling it. I don't see any other markings on it for that. So if you want this cardstock, I'll look it up and see if I can find it and supply you guys with the link. You're going to have a frame piece, and then you're going to have the actual box piece. How you fold this is up to you. Like I said, you can put a panel in the middle. This has got like Paris and stuff on it. One of these sides has a slit in it. Keep that in mind when you're putting your box together and these other pieces on. That needs to be to the right when you're finished. Or if you want your box to open left-handed or from the bottom, that's where that needs to be. So keep that in mind when you cut, especially if you're using a pattern cardstock. The first thing you want to do is fold in those little tabs right here. Keep this, the folding, your scoring, your marking, keep everything as square as you possibly can. I am going to try to stay on camera while I fold this. But just fold those flaps in, those 4 flaps, and then fold them back out. This is the inside of my box. This is going to be the outside. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I think the roses are going to be the outside. So you're going to fold all of your score lines in towards the center of the box. There are on each flap 4 score lines. And they're a little difficult to see sometimes, as we know. So you may want to take this, after your Cricut marks it, to a scoreboard. Sometimes I use the We Are Memory Keepers scoreboard and trimmer if I need it to be really, really, really precise, which this one does. I just don't have the time to do it tonight, and I basically just want to show you guys how this box goes together. But you can see the score line, and you can put it on there and score it a little bit deeper and get good crisp lines. These aren't too bad. You just want to fold all 4 sides and fold those in, okay? Don't glue, don't tape, don't do anything. I'm going to bring mine back and fold it back the other way as well, just so I can get a crisper line, and it'll lay flat while I fold the rest. Do that on all 4 sides. 4 sections on each side. And I appreciate all the kind comments you guys gave. Anytime you need a file or something and you can't find something, I don't mind helping create anything. Sometimes I have time, like I did today. I had a little extra time and I could stop and create this. Other times it may take me a couple of weeks. Just depends what I have going. I did create this entire thing in Design Space. I didn't use anything outside. Everything is Design Space shapes and made right there in Design Space. Score lines, cuts, everything. And you can see I'm just getting that to fold back out of my way so I can get a good crisp fold. And be careful, I apologize, I bumped the camera. Be careful on the one that's got the slit. You don't want to break that down too bad. That's where you're going to have your closure. And if you don't want that closure, if you want to close yours up a different way, you can by all means slice that little tail off of this right here. Slice that off and just detach that slit and remove it. So that's totally up to you. After you've got everything marked and folded, all of your score lines, the next thing we want to do is fold up these tabs again, keeping them square, okay? And just start with one. I'm using art glitter glue. I sell this in my Etsy shop. I don't have any right now because winter is upon us and fall, and you can't ship it when it's freezing. I'm going to try to zoom out a little bit so you guys can see this a little bit better. But I just put glue on this tab, and I'm bringing this panel up, creating that bottom corner. Keep it as straight as you possibly can. You want to keep this square. I'm just going to press it against the table and hold it till it dries, because if you go on and move on to the next one and it's not completely dry, it could pop loose and then stick and not be square on you. And then I'm going to do the next one. You want it to be good and straight. I'm just going to hold it down against the table. And you can see the little well box or keepsake box. I think some people call them wells. I don't know. I was researching when I saw it and trying to find the name of it for her, and I saw like several different boxes, and there were several different names. Most of them are commercial boxes for holding, like, I don't know, VCR tapes and things like that. And they looked, all the templates that I could find all look really, really, really complicated. So I said, well, I think there's a little bit easier way to do this. I really like the look of the box that, I hope I'm saying this right, Paulette Hernandez. She's the one that requested this box. If I slaughtered your name, I do apologize. I looked everywhere, and I don't know if that box is deeper or it's just the way they took the photo, but this is the deepest I could get to fit on 12 by 12. So that's what I went with. I am going to keep working on another box because when we fold these in and glue them, as you can see, because of the design of the box, we're going to have these seams here. And we can close them up as much as possible. I'm going to dry fit these and try to hold them in place while they dry, but sometimes you're going to have a little bit of a slit here. And that's what the frame is for, is to hide that in case you don't get it perfectly straight, or you're off just a little bit and you've got a little bit of a gap, then you can close it up. But if you get it good and straight, I'm trying to do this, you really need two hands. If you pull these in and glue them down in the right place, as you can see, it's pretty much tight. So there's not really a big gap. It's hard to do, it is, but it is possible, and I'm going to try. I'm going to do my best. Sometimes pushing them all the way in is not the best thing. Sometimes it is. Like I said, dry fit and pull your box together, and you're just going to start with one tab and work that one tab first, and then dry fit your next one with it. Don't glue one at a time. Glue and hold your other pieces in place to make sure they're going to match up, that you can get them to match before you hold and press it down. And just hold it till it dries. You don't want it to move once you've got that dry fit on there. You don't want that piece to move. You want it to dry. And then move on to this piece. I love Prima paper as much as I love Cricut paper. And then I'm just going to want to dry fit and make sure that that sticks where I want it. And I'm dry fitting it over here on this one that I have not glued yet as well. I want to make sure that it is in the right position for that. This is my slit side. I may have gotten my slit off a little bit on this one. And if I did, I'm just going to take an X-Acto knife and fix it. Because it's more on the side of this fold than it is on the top. So I may have to do a little scissor work there. On the prototype, it did not do that. It did end up on the top. So you may want to run a prototype on just this one piece, so that you can see where it's going to be, and you can detach and move that if you need to, because it's going to vary depending on the cardstock you use. I'm pretty sure that's what is causing that, because I did it on this 60-pound paper. Where is it? There it is. And you see it comes out on the top. So on this one, it's coming out kind of on the side, but I can fix that. I can take my Tim Holtz scissors and just make it a little bit bigger and work with it. And it may be just fine. It may be just my OCD kicking in. Next flap. Don't need a lot of glue, just a little bit. I'm getting it all over my fingers. And again, before I press it down all the way, I'm going to dry fit up next to that one. And I might end up with a tiny gap. Maybe not. Hopefully I won't. But if I do, it's not a big deal. We have a frame to fix that. And last one. Just putting glue on that bottom flap all the way around and holding it in place while it dries. And you can see I have a little bit of a gap coming. It just depends on the angle that you look at it, I guess. And there we have that piece. This is your keepsake portion. I don't know if I want the pearls to show, that Paris to show. Do I want that to show? I'm still deciding. While I'm deciding, and this is drying a little bit, you're going to take these two strips, and you can totally use ribbon here instead. But you're going to fold it in half and then fold the points back. There are score lines for those. And I folded that one in the wrong place, not on the score line. And this is just to, if you have a big gap like I have right here, I'm just going to kind of camouflage it. I'm going to go this way. Dry fit it. Take that pointed piece, and you're just going to stick it in to the side there, and then over here on the opposite corner. And then just take, while it's dry fitted in there, put a little glue down each side in the back. We're not gluing those tabs in. You don't have to worry about those. That was just so they would tuck in and be continuous. And you can bring these up to the top, or you can push them down just a little bit. Totally up to you. Do the same thing with the other on the opposite corners. And this is just going to give that finished look. Like I said, you could totally do this with ribbon. So that we only have, oh, that's the corner I hid. You only have two corners showing. If that makes any sense to you guys. On the inside of the box. And it kind of blends them in so they don't, you don't have big gaps. And if you've got a little, if it's not stained flush like this one isn't, you can pull it back out and score it a little further below the score line. It's just going to depend on how square you got your box. But I found on the prototype, if I just glued it into place, it went in and it stayed. I didn't have a problem with it. Just to give it a little finish. And I am going to use my frame, and that's going to help pull it in as well. I'm going to glue one side here, and I'm going to let it dry. Get a little glue there. And that's going to help me pull that back in square. And then I'm just going to go around from there. Don't stick yet. How cute is this? I'm loving it. And I think I am going to go with the roses to the inside. This will be the top, which I love. And then this will be the bottom. Or do I want? You can decide with your cardstock as well. I'm deciding as I go. I really like that. But I want something matchy-matchy on the inside. So I'm going to put the roses down on the inside. I don't want it to be completely all roses. I want to highlight both sides of the paper. And that might be a little bit of a tight fit, guys. Just run it down, your finger down in there all the way around. Pushing it down. You'll get it in there. It's just going to help you finish out the box. perfect. We can set that to the side and let it dry. And then you've got 2 score lines, well, 1 score line on each one of the, on this one. And then you've got 2 on this one. 1 back here on this spine. Why does that feel like it's not straight? But it is. And then you've got 1 here, just on the tab. And I mean, there is very slightly a small, teeny tiny cut on each side of this, and that's to kind of help give some open enclosure on your box here. And I hope I didn't do that, and I know that I did. I sure did. I put my piece in upside down. Don't do what I did. Check it first. I told you guys that at the beginning, and I still did it. But I'm going to live with it. It's okay. You want to take this piece that does not have the tab and just go around the edge of the box and get as close to the edge as you can. That way it doesn't lift up. It's going to look more professional. And you can do just a little bit on the inside. You don't need much. And you want to get this, just make sure I've got my slit in the right place. I do. I got the slit at the top. To me, it's just easier to do it this way. And then I'm going to lay this panel on and square it up with the box all the way around. You're not gluing this spine right here. And you can even leave a little bit of a slit area there that's not completely glued down. Don't press too hard on your box, you will collapse it. Press in the middle, flip it over and rub the backs. Get that. Then you're going to have this piece here. Now, because we can only go 12 by 12, I could not avoid the seam. But if you're using double carded side stock, it's not going to show. I'm suggesting, and it did end up working, you put your tab in on this one and then check the score, because depending on your cardstock and the frame and how square you are, it could be a little bit off. So you may need to rescore it just a little bit, just a hair shorter. This one looks like it's working fine. And I am putting this to the outside on mine. You can put it to the inside if you want. You can decorate it however you want to hide that. But with the double-sided cardstock, it's really not showing. I think I'm going to put mine to the inside. That way you can put a panel over it and hide it on the inside. So you're just going to go along the spine with good coverage end to end and press that piece down and get it glued. Just going to hold it on the table. I hope I was in camera on that, guys. So I can't see half the time, so I have to bring it up to me. But you're just going to glue it either to the inside, to the outside, however you want. But you won't go wrong if you just put your tab in there and then glue it. That'll help you keep it straight. And then, like I said, with the double-sided cardstock, you can barely tell that there's a seam there, even on the outside. I mean, there's a little bit. If you want to hide it with ribbon, you could tie a ribbon around here. That's probably what I'm going to do. That way it would be a nice little ribbon on the top. And then your tab is there. Put whatever you want. I have some pearls here. Little trinkets that can go in there. I mean, you've got a good amount of depth on the box. A small bottle of perfume, things like that will fit. I have a bottle of Stickles here, and it's just a little bit too thick, and it's almost it's right at an inch. So if you're at 3/4 of an inch or less, it's going to fit in that box just fine. I will try to come up with a different design so that we can get a deeper box. But in order for it to fit on that 12 by 12, if I went any deeper, you're not going to have much room to put anything in there. So I don't know if you guys have makers or not, but that'll give you a depth perception on that. The casing I've got on this is a little high, but it will fit in there. But it's a really cute box. Lots of things you could do. You could do this with fabric, all sorts of ribbons, so you can finish this out. It's not exactly like the one that you showed me, Paulette, but it's close. It's my own design. It's not an exact replica, but it's similar, and hopefully that will work and suffice for what you need. Again, I will try to do a different design to where we don't have these corners and it's folded underneath, and this is all solid. I will work on that and see if I can come up with one. I did see a professional box design. Like I said, it was for VCR tape. I might be able to do one that's elongated, but doing it in a square, that's not going to work because we don't have the mat size to handle it. So, unless somebody else knows a way to design it that I can't think of. But I will keep trying, and I will keep posting the boxes and the projects and things like that for you guys. Give me a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Come over to Cricut Maker Projects and join up with me there, or Cricut Crafting. I have 2 Facebook groups. You guys have a wonderful day. Make something beautiful, and please post your little keepsake boxes and let me see what you did with them. Put your panels on there and decorate them up. I don't have time to do that. I will do mine later and post a photo of it. But I know you guys are going to do a great job on it. You have a wonderful crafting day, and thanks for joining me.